Good morning, friends. Prepared Suburbanite back at you. I have been trying to figure out what's going to be the best way to reorganize our area where we store all our preps. Well, not all of them, but the majority of our preps. I have, let's see, 8 shelving units in a 1-bay garage-sized room, and each one of those shelving units has 5 shelves. Now, what we store there is anywhere from canned goods like corn and green beans and that kind of stuff to a bunch of number 10 cans of pretty much everything, freeze-dried meat, freeze-dried vegetables, freeze-dried this and freeze-dried that. There's a whole bunch of them, and I really don't know how many I've got. I don't know what the expiration or best buy dates are on any of them without having to go to that shelving unit and look at it and all that kind of stuff. So I've been pensing and thinking about what's going to be the best way to get this thing organized. And my first attempt was to create like an Excel spreadsheet with each shelving unit and each shelf within that shelving unit having some identification number or letter or combination of number or letters to assist me in trying to organize and find things in my prep areas, and that turned out to be rather illogical to me as I thought about it and tried to put things together and stared at the shelving units trying to figure out the best way to do it. So I'd like to pose it to you all. Let me know what you're doing, what really works for you, so that you know what you've got, so that you know when the expiration dates are, so that you know how many cans of corn or beans or whatever you've got, so that at a quick glance you can know exactly what you got and exactly what you're going to need. So stick around. I'd love to get some input and feedback from you all on what systems you may have in place. So stick around. So as I said earlier, we've got in our storage area 8 shelving units that you can normally pick up at your big box stores, your hardware stores and all that, and they come in a big box, and you assemble things and put them up and do all that. And every time I add a new one, it's like, oh, look at all the space, and you just start filling it with what you've got. And the logic of how to get all this stuff stored and logically put up has eroded over time. I've got number 10 cans. We've got the regular size cans of vegetables like green beans and corn and carrots and that kind of stuff. We've got stuff that we've put in the 5-gallon buckets, sealed in Mylar bags, things like flour and sugar and those kind of staples, rice. So what I've found is that the 5-gallon buckets, you can only get 3 of them on a shelf, but there's a little bit of space in the front, but you can't get more than 3 5-gallon buckets on a shelf. So, but you can get 3 5-gallon buckets like in the back row, and then you can put number 10 cans in the front and it'll all stay right on the shelf. So you can get like 6 or so, maybe even 8, depending on the size of your shelving unit, 6 to 8 number 10 cans in front of that. But then it's difficult because you got to move the cans to look in there and see what was in the 5-gallon buckets, and it gets totally illogical to me. So I was thinking about it, and like I said before, thinking about putting a spreadsheet together so that I could tell at a quick glance. We spend a half a day or a day doing inventory down here and making sure that we've got a really good idea of how many cans of corn and how many bags of beans and how many pounds of rice and all that we've got and where it's located, so that I can take a quick glance at that and make a determination on what I want to invest in for my preps for the next time we go to the warehouse club or to the grocery store or make an online order from a couple of the 3 or 4 different places that we generally order things from. And without getting it pre-organized, just inventory and everything, to me, just felt like it was going to be a waste of a whole day. While I get an idea of what we've got and how many cans of corn, etc., but is it organized in a logical fashion? So what I was thinking this morning as I was staring at my shelving units was, maybe I should put, like in the first shelving unit, put all the number 10 cans, put them in there so that they're in a logical order, so that they're like first in, first out, kind of an inventory system. You put the stuff that you use frequently right up here, the stuff that's less frequently used up on top or down at the bottom, and kind of take it from there. So you put all the number 10 cans in one of them, put all the canned vegetables and canned beans and canned whatever fruits you've got, and you put all that in the next one over, and then the next one over you can use for maybe your supplement kind of stuff, things that you use to cook with, aluminum foil, stuff that you use for storage in your freezer, like Ziploc bags and garbage trash can bags and contractor bags and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a utility area there that you can take a quick peek at and say, oh, yep, starting to run low on Ziploc bags, better get some of those, and kind of take it from there. So that's where my thoughts are today. I've seen a number of different prepping channels that'll sort of take you on a quick tour of their preparations, storage areas, and they all seem to be logically put together, at least for the person that's using it, where they've got most things that they use right up front, things that they may need later on is kind of in the back, but they've got it set up so that they can rotate things out. And that's, I think, the biggest thing for me, is to make sure that I'm rotating the stock out. I have, and I'll admit it, we have lost a few cans of this or a few cans of that because I didn't rotate it out properly, and all of a sudden you're looking at a can that's 10 years old, there's rust spots on the top of it, and it's starting to bulge a little bit. And I said, well, I can't use that. So I ended up, over the last 8 years or so that I've been seriously prepping, ended up having to toss maybe a half a dozen cans of vegetables or beans or whatever that just didn't make the grade. The cans got bulged and all that. And that could be from the environment, it could be from poor packaging at the factory, not sure what it is, but I've lost a little bit, not that it was all that serious, but what the lesson there was that I wasn't rotating things the way I should have been. So you buy a new flat of green beans and you say, oh, there's a spot there, and you set it down and say, there, that's taken care of. But behind that are 2 more flats of green beans that are now 6 months older or 8 months older or 12 months older, and you're putting the new stuff in the front. And trying to rotate it back out, been one of my big failings. So be really interested to hear back from you all on what your best theories are, what your best practices are for trying to put together a logical storage area where you've got a limited amount of space, and you've got, from floor to ceiling, and you've got this much big, I don't know what size. I've seen folks take over an entire basement with this. So you've got, something that's like 30 by 40, and there's rows and rows and rows of shelving units and all that. Well, I can't afford to do that where I am. I don't have that kind of space. I've got a 2-car garage. One is dedicated to the car, and the other is dedicated to our preps, and that's how it's going to work out. And I've got a little bit of space in a spare bedroom closet upstairs where we store some of our canned goods. And I mean stuff that we can ourselves, like canned tomatoes out of the garden and stuff like that, because it's a lot more temperature controlled in that upstairs spare bedroom closet, and it's just full of shelves in there. So it seemed to really work out as an ideal location for us. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do, unless I get some great ideas from you all, what I'm going to do is take everything out of the shelves and restack them all based on a certain kind of logic, where I'll put all the number 10 cans in one shelving unit, put all the canned vegetables and canned beans and stuff like that in a second one, put all the stuff that we've put up in Mylar bags and 5-gallon buckets and stuff like that, and try to get all of them in a single unit or 2. I think there may be enough of that for 2. And then we've got a couple of other miscellaneous things that we can reorganize and restock, macaronis and pastas and stuff like that need to be sorted through based on best by dates and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to be up to over the next couple of days. I'll try to bring you along if I have any great revelations about how to tackle this mess. And I hope to really do hear from some of the most dedicated preppers that are out there that do follow the channel. I'd really love to hear what your theories are, what your best practices are. So this is the Prepared Suburbanite, reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see you all on the next video.